Hello, everyone. Welcome back to today's episode of Low Season Traveller Insider Guides. I'm Kate Burgess. We are joined again by our wonderful Italian travel expert from IC Bellagio, Andrea Grisdale. Today, we chat about the magical city of Bologna, and even if you have been to Bologna, this episode will uncover some of the secret parts of the city and how to discover them. From 12th century cathedrals to modern day fast cars, Bologna bursts with excitement, local love, and deep history. Hope you enjoy. Hello, Andrea, and welcome back to Low Season Traveller Insider Guides. How are you?
I'm great, thanks, Kate. Hi from Lake Como. It's an absolute gorgeous day here today.
Very jealous. It is a grim day here. I feel like this is going to be the coming trend for our future Italy podcast. You going into your beautiful summertime.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's definitely the beginning of summer today, which is fantastic news.
I'm very excited to talk about Bologna, a city with so much history and culture. And when people think of Bologna, they might not necessarily think of it as a university town. However, it's the home of Europe's oldest university and the oldest university in continuous operation in the world. Tell me about this place.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a very, very special destination, Kate. So I'm so happy to speak about Bologna today. The university, without a doubt, I think if one talks about Bologna, the first thing you think about is food, of course. We are in Italy, remember? And probably the second thing that comes to mind is the university. As you mentioned, it is Europe's oldest university, without a doubt. And actually dates back to 11th century. So I think it was around a bit before Australia. So an amazing history there. Initially, Kate, it was actually a law university. It's always been a very prestigious one, but it's also been a university which has been known for its research too. Today, they still do study law there. However, they've added many, many subjects, agriculture, veterinary medicine, economics, engineering, architecture, medicine, surgery, sciences, just to name a few. And I don't know whether you know, but back in the 1200s, actually 1237, a lady called Betizia Gozzadini was the very first woman ever to earn a law degree, and she got her degree in Bologna. And then just 2 years later, she actually returned to the very same university to teach. And again, that made another first, which was making her the first woman ever to teach in a university.
That's fantastic. That's beautiful. I love stories like that. And so the city is often known by the following three names: La Dotta, La Grassa, and La Rosa. Why?
Well, first of all, La Dotta for the university, La Grassa for the food and the gastronomy, and La Rosa actually not for the Ferrari red, which is what many, many people say today. Originally, it was all about the actual bricks that were used for the buildings and the towers. There's a lot of towers in Bologna, and the majority of these buildings and towers were constructed during the Middle Ages. And so that is where La Rosa comes from.
Three fantastic things. And Bologna was instrumental in establishing Christianity in Italy. Can you take us back in time to trace Bologna's early Christian roots?
Absolutely. And I have to tell you, Kate, when I think about our guides in Bologna, this is actually one of their very favorite tour experiences. Of course, it's a walking experience, and they actually will take our travelers on a journey really to learn all about Bologna's role in establishing Christianity in Italy and the church's role in the prosperity of the city itself. They stroll through these beautiful cobbled streets. I'm not sure if you've ever been to Bologna, but it really is a very attractive, authentic city with an amazing atmosphere. They also have these beautiful arched colonnades as well. And there you can also discover the ancient crypts. Many are dating back as far as the 5th century, as well, of course, as the churches and the palaces that really did figure prominently in Bologna's early Christian history.
I love that you're able to have a history of something that isn't fully tangible. Of course, there is churches and the crypts, like you say, but to really experience that and learn about the stories, I feel like the best way to experience that is truly a tour, because just visiting those destinations, just you don't get that full experience of what it meant for the city and that adaptation and the pickup of Christianity around the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just the most amazing, it's all about storytelling, as we often talk about, but you can imagine, the story that you enjoy as you're going through a city like Bologna.
I read that some of Italy's most impressive early Renaissance art can be found in Bologna's secret chapels. What are these secret chapels? Is it true? Is the art available to the public?
Well, also there, Kate, the majority of people who head to Bologna, they tend to focus exclusively on the major cathedrals and the basilicas. So what we did was we worked with our guides really to put together a beautiful walking tour to explore the city's secret chapels. And that is really where you're going to find and see and experience some of the most impressive early Renaissance art. The guide will be going to many of the sacred spaces of the city that are only open to those in the know. They're not necessarily going to be open to the public, of course. They're hidden gems, places like the Oratory of San Colobano with its 16th century frescoes and the antique musical instrument collection. Also, you have the San Cecilia, which has got the most beautiful frescoes, depicting, I should say, the martyrdom of the saint and her husband. Another place that we love to go to is the Oratorio of Santa Maria della Vita, and there you will find the most stunning terracotta statues, which tell the story of its former function as a hospital. Again, back to storytelling. There's so many stories to tell in Bologna.
And in line with those beautiful pieces of art and hidden secret chapels, Bologna is known for its centuries-old tradition of quality craftsmanship. What kind of crafts are we talking?
Wow, I hope you have lots of cash in your pocket when you go, because there you literally will find the most beautiful bespoke leather shoes. Also ornate gold ornaments. They also have delicate silk as well. Bologna is known for having this centuries-old tradition in quality craftsmanship. And during the tour experience that we have with our guides there, they will actually take our guests to visit many of the traditional workshops, which are literally bursting with history, anecdotes. Again, we're going back to the old storytelling. And often many of these people still today are using original antique tools. People like the herbalists, the goldsmiths, the sculptors, they're 4th, 5th, 6th generation, and they are carrying on many of the traditions that were actually passed down from generation to generation, crafting innovative products, using, of course, those time-tested ancient techniques.
I know that the Jewish community has also a centuries-old tradition in Bologna. Is there a synagogue and perhaps a Jewish museum that people can visit today, or are there other pieces of Jewish history around?
Yeah, absolutely, Kate. And again, this is a big one. We often have guests who, if you like, want to walk in the footsteps of the Jewish history throughout the country. And Bologna is always a must for them. The Jews actually began settling there back in the mid-12th century. And they were there absolutely without a doubt for 2 centuries, and with huge success in banking, trading, medicine. And they actually established way back when 11 synagogues. back in Bologna. And so there's a lot of story there. And even from 1945 to the present day, the Jewish community has regrown in Bologna. They are now over 200 people actually based in the center of the city itself. And our experience with our guide as you're walking through the alleyways and the gates of the 16th century ghetto will really take you to see the old and the new synagogues, and also to the very, very moving collection of the Jewish museum that they do have in the heart of the city, which is there you have the story of 8 centuries of Jewish history of Bologna.
Such incredible depth of history. Every comment you're making is 12th century, 11th century. There's just so much to discover, and so well preserved as well, to still have those in the city to be able to visit and go see. So biking either on e-bikes or push bikes seems to be the new way of exploring cities. Would you say that Bologna is a bikeable city?
I would say, apart from walking, there is absolutely, Kate, no better way to experience Bologna other than on 2 wheels. And many of our guests, they actually choose to enjoy their tour experiences on bikes with their guide. And they love to, cruise their way under the various colonnades and through the medieval alleyways and hit all the historical sites. It really is a fun way. It's a very different way to see the city. And I think, with you can imagine the presence of all of those locals, the presence of all of the students at the university, everybody out and about on their bike. It's almost a way to feel like you truly fit in and you are really living the life, living as a local, which, as you know, so many of our guests, they're seeking when they come here. Of course, we do provide a set of very good quality earphones for our guests when they are on their bikes with the guide. So, of course, they can still enjoy the commentary as they're out and about exploring the city. And, of course, they go to bar for a coffee, which is a big favorite with a lot of locals, where everybody turns up on their bike. If you don't turn up on a bike, it's kind of, you're an outsider. So, just little things that really, once again, permit our guests to take one extra step closer to, living as a local when visiting Bologna.
That's the true feeling people always want, is that local feeling,
Absolutely.
Feel like they're involved. No one ever wants to stand out as a tourist. So biking seems like a fantastic way to do it. And on the other hand, as you mentioned, the La Rosa is not for the Ferrari red, but Motor Valley is on the doorstep of Bologna. Lamborghini, Ferrari, Ducati, the big names of the Italian motor world. What kind of experiences can visitors enjoy out there if they want that true adrenaline rush and the speed of those cars?
Oh, you can imagine, thank goodness we have some great shopping and some great food experiences in the city. And so often, when we have maybe a family traveling together or friends traveling together, they will actually split up. And those, who like the speed will be heading out into what we call the Motor Valley. We literally have, Kate, Lamborghini, Ferrari, and Ducati right on the doorstep of Bologna. And so there is a lot of opportunity for people to get their adrenaline rush. The Ferrari Museum is fantastic. People truly love it. One request I wanted to mention to you today that we get constantly is, can I go into the Ferrari factory? Now, you can only enter the Ferrari factory, Kate, if you are a Ferrari owner. Now, we can be creative, but there's no being creative here. So if you're a Ferrari owner, you get inside. If you're not, you don't. And that is one rule that, it sticks, and that's the way it is. However, what you can do is you can do some test driving of the Ferraris, which is a lot of fun. And there's a lot of different options. There's a lot of different time duration. Do you want to be on a racetrack? Do you want to be alone? Do you want to be with somebody? Do you want to have a Ferrari and go off perhaps driving into the countryside for 2 or 3 hours? This is completely up to our guests. Also, of course, they have the shooting video via camera car in the Ferrari. So it's a very fun experience, I have to say. And for those motor enthusiasts, they will be in heaven.
I got to say, I'm not surprised that these incredible brands have still some level of exclusivity owning a Ferrari and being let in. It's the way that they are. They're luxury, they're beautiful, and being able to test them is extremely exciting and definitely something that I would love to do.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a big thriller. You know, my colleague Virna was recently there, and she actually chose the yellow Ferrari, which I was surprised at. But then when I saw it, I was like, okay, that looks pretty cool. But, you know, even though she was there with her husband, and even though she's not particularly into fast cars, she said it really was an amazing experience. So, you know, something fun to do for sure when you are in that area.
I mean, Bologna sounds like an absolute dream. The depth of the history, the stories of multiple religions growing there, the art, and then just the excitement that it has. It truly sounds like a fantastic city that everyone has to go to.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, it's just got this amazing vibe about it, Kate. You know, it's not kind of show-offy. It's not, you know, it's never probably going to be up there as being a city that people will go to on their very first visit to Italy. However, when people get there, they will definitely always return, because it's just a wonderful, wonderful place with a great atmosphere. And so it's an easy city to get to know, and it's an easy city to get to love as well.
Well, thank you very much, Andrea. I'm very much looking forward to chatting to you on Thursday about, of course, the food and the incredible culture that Bologna has to offer.
Thank you, Kate.
Thank you again to Andrea for joining us. She will be back with me on Thursday to discuss the obviously vibrant gastronomic scene in Bologna. If there are any destinations you'd like to hear more about, message us on our social channels @LowSeasonTraveller. Don't forget to share this podcast with your friends, family, and social networks. More now than ever, travel is better without the crowds.